What is it about overtime that the Calgary Flames just despise? They just hate it. And yet, they had a third period lead and then gave it up. Maybe they're excited about overtime. Maybe they want to get to overtime. They fall to 3-7 in overtime. In extra time, now 4-10 on the season as they lose at Madison Square Garden by a score of 5-4. Welcome to Afterburner. There's Retro. It's Boomer here in the home studios today. There was a lot to like, I thought, about this game, but man, it sucks when you lose like that. I don't know. I just don't know how. Guys, there were some individual performances that was good. I thought Markstrom had a great night. I'll ask you, you get into the scraps, and when you're fighting for one another, you can really build on that. You come together and all that sort of stuff, and then you take one right in the teeth like that. I guess maybe you don't care, but could not have felt good for these guys leaving MSG tonight.
Well, you're probably right. They're probably frustrated, but I'll tell you what, if they play with that kind of emotion, I'm okay. Right? Like, I was not expecting that type of emotion coming off of a break like they had.
Yeah.
And I mean, maybe Trouba initiated most of it, but they responded. They were into it. They're scrapping. They're battling. They come back. They get the lead. It's a tough loss, but I don't know if I remember a game this year where they played with that much emotion.
It was an exciting one for sure. That I was curious too. That can be a tough building. If for people that have ever been to MSG, it doesn't matter what day of the week it is. It's Manhattan. It's Midtown. That place just jumps all the time, and you could tell that obviously as the game went along tonight with the game within reach, that it was a good one. But they were chasing the entire night. But you'd love this game if you hang on to that third period lead.
Oh,
you'd love everything about it, and maybe that's because I am glass half empty guy. Welcome to the show. I'm glass half empty guy. Maybe you move on and you go to Detroit. It's like, fuck, we got a point, whatever. Take the point, like Daryl says. Take it and go. It's tough winning on the road at the best of times. Were they the better team tonight, though? Did they deserve to beat the Rangers?
I wouldn't go that far. I thought they were right in it. I think here's the issue I have with the Flames in general is that I don't know. I don't know that their high-end talent matches up with other teams' high-end talent. They have to play structure. They have to play a disciplined hockey game, and it's hard. I would prefer to watch that. They had the emotion and this and that, but who put up points for the Rangers?
Their guys.
They answered. Yeah. There was a power play late in the game, right?
Yeah.
So,
and that was. We'll talk about the power play, but no, I mean you're bang on. A couple points for Artemi Panarin, 3-point night for Mika Zibanejad, 2 for Philip Hedl, the assist to Chris Kreider on that power play goal. Their guys did it. Now, in fairness, I guess Toffoli comes through and scores, and we've talked about it so much, and I think it's 51 games in now. You can't just expect it to come around. But if you can I was saying it on the other show today, if you could just tighten up a little bit and have your power play improve, you feel like that would make such a difference. And they had that power play as Trocheck went off late third period. You had the man advantage in a tie game, and they didn't really come close. Power play goal there, I feel like that's going to win the hockey game for you. You do get one power play goal, but when you're not that one power play goal in their last 4 games, you're just making life so hard on yourself.
You're not helping yourself at all. And that's the worst part about it is damn well that playoff hockey, it's even more important, right? Like even if you battle through it in the regular season, maybe you get in there in the playoffs, you have to make those count. And if you can't do it in the games in the regular season, what makes you believe that they can do it when the playoffs start? So
yeah.
I mean, who made it? Was it Panarin that made that backhand pass spin over onto
Zibanejad? Like there's Kreider. Yeah,
I mean that's beauty, high end play, but sorry, that's what you got to be able to do. Like that's what Huberdeau's calling card is supposed to be. That type of passer that puts those guys, they can just tap it in the back door, easy peasy. But It ain't happening. They got to score on the puck. That's
Have to.
They have to. You
Yeah.
just have to end it there.
The turnovers were unbelievable. And it was, I guess that was a product of this game because it was so loose and it was back and forth. And I'm sure as a coach, you're trying to get them to tighten up a little bit. But you name it, he turned the puck over tonight. Zadorov with a killer almost near the end of the game. Lindholm redeems himself in overtime. But every guy, they 14 giveaways is what they have on the score. Bullshit. Couldn't believe just shot after shot period, every period of this hockey game. And I don't know, is that just first game back? You're giddy, you settle in. Is that what it is? You're just
I jumped on you a little bit there, but I think that's 100% what it is. I'm less surprised about that just because you haven't played, you're trying to make plays. You just don't have the touch when you've been off for as long as they have. And oh yes, I know people will quit making excuses. It's not an excuse. It's just what it is. So I was actually thinking when I started watching, like, there's 8 teams, because I was trying to predict in my mind what I thought was going to happen, and I thought it would be an extremely flat, lazy, slow game. And I thought, well, that's normal because there's about 8 teams in the league that'll come out and they'll just consistently dominate, and they're that good, and they don't have the excuses that are baked into the rest of the 24 other teams or whatever it is, right? And I just thought it was going to be a flat game, and I was happy with the emotion and the effort, actually, but not at all surprised with the sloppiness and then the turnovers and and that sort of stuff. So I'm not shocked by it. You're off that long. You have the break. You go away. It's a good thing. And that'll they've been bad for turnovers all year, but it won't be as bad as it was tonight moving forward.
I wonder where Jacob Markstrom is at in his own head.
Oof.
Because he was so good tonight. He's the only reason it got to overtime. And to this point, we've talked a lot about no run support. Well, he did get 4 goals tonight, and he still allows 5 on 33. So that save percentage is still not going to improve. But
Terrible.
he was really very good
Made
tonight.
some big saves.
And did you? He would have killed that ref when he chopped the goalpost. He'd have killed him.
Did he? I actually wondered if when the stick broke, did it get a piece of the ref? Because it had to be close.
It curled behind the net. If that would have hit him, he'd have been suspended for the rest of the season.
Well, and that was, I guess I didn't put too much thought in it. My initial instincts were, well, that just shows me that he's frustrated and struggling. But on the other hand, maybe you want that emotion. Maybe you want that compete. You can clearly see he wants to be better and he wants to get the win. And I thought he played well tonight. But most goalies have a level of, there's the odd time there's a snap and there's a broken stick, but I think we've seen it a lot out of him this year, right?
Yeah.
Like there's some frustration inside him. I think he's got to get that under control if he wants to find his game, I guess. But again, I say find his game, but he had a good game. So,
well, that's sucks. The thing, because he was making save after save, and he comes up with that huge glove save off of Panarin seconds before Lafreniere puts it in, and then.
Well, where was
Mangiapane runs into Zadorov?
Yeah, but where was Mangiapane going to begin? If you rewind that tape, and I don't think we can do it for the people, but Markstrom makes a save, and Mangiapane's first instinct is to curl out. He was not charging back on a back check. He wasn't desperate to get it back. I was pissed off about that. I thought that was BS because it's an odd man. It's overtime. It's 3 on 3. You got to bust your ass to get back there. And when that puck pops out, you got to be a guy picking it up. He didn't bust his ass to get back. And then when the save was made, he almost curled away to leave the zone, hoping for a breakaway pass. And it ends up costing them. I thought that was poorly played by Mangiapane in that situation.
Again, if you're looking for positives that Markstrom played that well, would give you reason to think, okay, build upon that. You lose that game. You lose that game. You get a
give
great
up
game
5
goalie. You scored 4, and you still couldn't find a way. Should the Mangiapane goal have counted? They said no kicking motion.
I was shocked. I mean, I'm happy to have the goal, the point, blah blah blah, but it sure looked like a kick to me. I don't know what again. I'm not in the control room, but I
Yeah.
don't get it at all. I actually was sitting there. I had to go to Grandma and Grandpa's to watch this game, and I actually said, I think it's a stupid rule. You should be able to kick that puck in the net. I think it's
Yeah.
based on. I don't even know why the rule's there. Is it a safety thing? It must be.
It's
They don't
it'd
want
be a
people
safety
kicking.
thing.
But
We
I
don't
mean,
want you bringing your blades off of the ice.
yeah,
Don't be
but I
kicking
mean,
at anybody.
it should be a goal. I think it's part. It shouldn't be a rule, but it is. And to me, he pushed his foot forward. That's kicking. And I feel like we've seen many that have been less egregious that didn't count, right? That I think that's the one that sticks.
Yeah.
It's to me, it's like, oh no, that's not counting because
Because
he's
I
moved
don't.
his foot.
I was trying to remember because Sutter was talking about you can't figure out one day it's this, one day it's. I was sure. I was watching with my oldest, and it's like, well, he's kicked that in. It's not a kicking motion. So, well, yeah, well, I guess I don't. The hell do I know?
Wow, we got to get
So-
to watch the cavalry more. We don't understand what kicking
that's right.
is and isn't. So
Let's do our toast of the game for BK Bowfort Liquor. Now, Mandeep and the folks over at BK Bowfort Liquor, they want to do a little bit of winning, or at least help you do some winning. Coming up this week, a $60 prize pack from BK Bowfort Liquor that's your taxes and fees included, a $60 prize pack. What you need to do is go on social media, follow BK Bowfort Liquor. On Twitter, it's at BK Liquor. Instagram, at BK Bowfort Liquor. Tag 2 friends in it, follow them on the Instagram, and Mandeep's going to go into the social media and pick a winner. Of course, BK Bowfort Liquor out on the west side of the city, Trans-Canada Highway, across from COP Winsport. That's where you go. Mandeep. You should have seen him in Jasper. He was so good.
yeah, you
Silky
guys didn't
mitts.
tell me much. Like he was that good, eh?
Oh, he was good because it's tight, right? You're not talking about a huge rink where you can just wheel around guys. Oh, phone booth.
Really?
Unbelievable. Yeah.
A little bit of 13 in him.
Just a little bit. So it's funny that right after you ripped the guy, my toast of the game goes to Andrew Mangiapane. I guess I need to go back and assess that final play a little bit more. I liked in the third period where he beat out that icing after Lucic couldn't get the puck out. And then they put the ice times like, oh boy, late third period, Lucic, 105, 106, the long shifts, and then they ice the puck. He goes down, beats out the icing, gets the change. He gets the goal. Made the nice play to get it to Dubé on that 1-2-on-1, and couldn't get it through. Again, we've talked about it. He was ice cold to start the season. This is the Mangiapane you're used to seeing. That line's been good. They come through again. So my toast of the game goes to Mangiapane.
Man, I won't beat up on him. I thought he had a good game. I just thought that last play, he was cheating for the offense. And if he'd have just back checked hard, he'd have been in position to pick up that puck before Lafreniere, I can't say his name, came back to the middle and got it. So my toast of the game is vodka. I've consumed a lot lately. And I went with another vodka cranberry tonight, and it was delicious. So my toast of the game, vodka. Go to BK and pick up some vodka.
Sure. So it's February. That feels to me that's dark liquor season for you, would it not be? Or
Well, I was in Florida, right?
Yeah.
You're not going to go with the hard, not a lot of dark, not a lot of IPA beery kind of thing down there. You stay light.
Guys, give me drinking light liquor. That's Ron Swanson would never drink. Yeah, well, I'm not Ron Swanson. I'm half Ukrainian, so vodka. Come on now.
I like when people tell you what you're supposed to drink too.
Yeah,
that goes over well with me. Oh, I'll have a scotch and I want lots of ice and a little bit of water. Well, you can't have water in your scotch or ruining it. I'm like, you can pound sand.
What were we drinking? And I guess by we, I mean you and Z. Remember, we had just started doing the show, and I don't even think you were coming in more than 1 or 2 days a week. We were in your backyard at your old house, and Z had a little bit left in his glass and just kind of splashed it at the fire to go woof. It was like, Jesus Christ, we're drinking that. Like, we're putting that in our bodies. It was scotch, I think. Probably would have been.
I would think it was scotch. Yeah, we do have a few of those the odd time.
Yeah, that was a bit of I'm sobering isn't right, but it was a bit of an eye opener. It's like, Jesus, lights on fire like that, and we're chugging it back. BK Bowfort Liquor, $60 prize pack. Man Deep will be in touch with the winner by way of social media. Twitter, @BK Liquor. Instagram, @BK Bowfort Liquor. Tag 2 friends. Follow the BK on both of those, and you could be a winner.
I would give, if I had to, I would give the other. I went with the vodka because I had a vodka, and I didn't feel it was right to give a cheers to a opposing team player. But that Trouba, I like that game.
2 monstrous hits, crushes Dubé, and then Chris Tanev, who just is back in the lineup, jumps in to defend his teammate.
I appreciate
And
that,
then-
Tanev, but I didn't like to see it. I'm like, nah, don't do that.
Because
Or
obviously he's
just tackle him. Just tackle him. You know,
you're just coming back from injury, and wasn't a particularly dirty hit. Now, if you're on the ice and it looks, maybe you see it out of the corner of your eye and you think it's dirty, or maybe you just do it regardless. That's what they do in the game. But I didn't think it was a dirty play, and then leveled Kadri.
Nailed him.
Whoa. And we've talked about this. I think we talked about it on one of these Afterburner shows. Because of the way the game is played now, guys are not used to getting hit. They're used to, they can come into the zone, cut. You used to cut across the middle, 10 feet inside, top of the circles and inside the blue line. You were putting your life in your own hands.
By the age of 10, you were taught never cut across the middle with the puck. You're going to get slaughtered. Like you're going to get absolutely lit up. Yard sale. It used to be constant. Phaneuf, Jovanovski, who I saw in Florida, Brian McCabe. Like there was you just didn't go to the Scott Stevens, of course. You just didn't go to the middle with the puck. Now guys do it all the time. And, you know, and you're right. I think a lot of times it's not fair. The defensemen get penalties, even though they're good hard hits.
No.
Trouba's was perfect. Like that was just perfect.
And what was it? Kind of it's Kadri, so you know it's not a guy without any hockey sense, a smart player, and is solid. And it happened like that. He went from backpedaling to planted and shoulder. As impressive, man. I mean, that's he's their captain and kind of for a reason. Now, does he cross the line? Absolutely. And he's got a reputation. And maybe that's what it is. You see Trouba hit one of your teammates, you just assume it's a dirty hit. You come into this game knowing to keep your head up around Trouba, and he still pops a couple of your guys. But thought
you know what? And I'm not even joking. Those 2 dopes that went after him. First, I don't think Dubé's going to get him. So he'd be better off diving, you know, and get him in a headlock and just tearing him down. Like there's no sense even taking and same with Tanev in that situation. It's like, you don't need to fight right now. You're just coming back. We really don't need to risk you losing your arm again. How about you just jump him and tackle him? Like we don't really need to throw the punches.
Yeah. And I mean, Dubé, you're not going to win that fight, Dupes. Love it.
Hey,
right? Love your
absolutely. Good on you.
Love everything about it. Just looking here, Dubé, they gave him a misconduct. Well, there's the instigator, fighting major, and a 10-minute misconduct. And then in overtime, 1:37 is the time of the winning goal. Markstrom, a 10-minute misconduct. So they gave him a 10 for the stick smash. I'm guessing.
Because it almost decapitated the ref.
Remember that old video that was on YouTube when they're at the javelin event and dude's out walking around, takes the javelin right into the fucking boiler. Be the friggin' ref. God, who was the ref tonight? Kelly Sutherland killed Kelly. Yep. manslaughter. I started off. One of the things that I like, because there was so much emotion, you said it, it felt like they were together, and you have those nights where you have to kind of stick up for each other and you fight for each other and it's scrappy, and then you get into the locker room afterwards, and I'm guessing, but you'd be pumped up, say, boys, fucking rights, let's go. But then you lose, and I feel like maybe all of that is wiped out, or is it wiped out?
Well, I think some of it's wiped out because you came back and had the lead. Right? You have the lead in the second half of the third period on the road. I think you lose a little bit of the positive vibe because you had the lead and a chance to get 2 points. For us, it's easier because we're not living it. Hopefully they don't get too down about it. And I don't think it's a death march
Yeah.
kind of thing. It's not like they're going to be that upset, but you could have felt really good about what you accomplished. That's the bad part, is that Markstrom had a good game. If they can hold on for that 4-3 win, that's solid. Guys stood up for each other. That's awesome. They had to come back and battle back. Awesome. You got guys chipping in that you need to keep chipping in. Perfect. First game of a road trip, get 2 points. Perfect, right? Like, and a chance to go into teams that aren't as good as the Rangers with Detroit and Buffalo. So
Yeah.
it's too bad they couldn't hang on to it. Now, if they can follow it up with a good effort in Detroit, like I said, when was that road trip? I think it was that Chicago St. Louis. If you get a tie on the road, it can be okay if you follow it up with a win. If you don't follow it up with a good effort in Detroit, this game is you pissed away points. That's what that'll mean.
Well, Daryl, what is it? More points than games.
Yeah,
So they can just get more points than games. Well, they're gonna have to win some coming up here. I feel like the more of these you see, again, 4 and 10 in extra time. That's a lot of points. You split the difference on that. That's 5.
Yeah.
It's,
They don't
I
have the
just feel
finishers.
like
They don't have
I
the
just feel
finishers. The
like,
reason
yeah.
they can't win in overtime is the same reason they can't win it, or they don't do well on the power play. I mean, they go hand in hand. It's guys that have time with you got the puck on your stick and you have time, and they're not making the plays. It's a power play and it's 3-on-3. You're
Yeah. You look at the goals tonight, Coleman banging like garbage right on the doorstep. Hey, they all count. But it's Coleman, garbage, Toffoli, great goal. Perfect shot, power play. Mangiapane off the skate and in at the side of the net, and then Michael Stone, a puck that probably shouldn't go in on Yaro Halak. Guy can shoot it, but still, it was well out. So, man, you scored 4 on the road. Had a lead in the third period. But you get a point. So I don't know how to. Like, I'm with you. You now go into Detroit and then Buffalo, and then wrap it against Ottawa. It's a long friggin' trip by the time this thing gets said and done, because as we record this, it's Monday, and then you've got 2 days off. Then it's Detroit, and then it's a weird early morning Mountain Time game, midday game in Buffalo on Saturday.
Saturday at noon, yeah.
And then you don't play. Then you got Sundays. Then you're coming home from Ottawa. You got to beat Ottawa.
It's a shitty schedule, Dean. It's a shitty schedule. It's not like Detroit and Buffalo are tough outs. I don't care what you say. They are not going to be easy. Now, I think that's Buffalo's first game back from their break. And
yeah, it's weird breaks, right? Some teams played till Wednesday of last week.
And the fact that it's an afternoon or a noon game in Buffalo after being off, I think could play into the Flames' favor. That's a good thing, but you can't take them. You certainly can't take Detroit and Buffalo lightly. And I think Ottawa was supposed to be better this year. I don't know how good they are. They're hard to read. Everyone hates Ottawa anyway, so we don't pay much attention. So
it's true.
But I'll tell you what, you look at this and it's, to me, the situation the Flames are in, they have to have 5 out of the next 6.
They're not in a playoff spot. You don't have that wiggle room. It's not like you hold your destiny, whatever you want to say, holding your destiny in your hands or whatever. You got to win some, you shouldn't. And now you feel like those games against Chicago and the one against St. Louis, and now this one you had. I thought Markstrom held them in this game in the third period. And they get the goal that was kicked in. So maybe you take the point and you're thankful for it. Maybe we should be looking at it the other way.
Wow, and you could absolutely flip it on its head and do that too. But we're a half full kind of guys, so we're really. I mean, oh wait, you said you're half empty.
Yeah, full of vodka cran.
The shitty part is that's the whole season in a nutshell, isn't it? Are they good or bad? I don't know. I guess they're kind of okay. But they don't do. You're right. They're not that good. Yeah, but they're right there. Okay, well, maybe they're okay. We don't bloody well know.
Come back from the break. It's like, all right, kick it into gear now. Let's see what you got. Except this game is kind of exactly the microcosm, right?
Yes.
It's you're up, you're down, you're scoring. Oh, bad turn the puck over big. Oh, what are you? Don't know. No clue. Don't really know.
No
clue. Let's do the buy or sell portion of Afterburner here. A presentation of Newman Dean's Real Estate Group. Derrick Newman, good guy, good guy. Again, too tall, too lean, too handsome, but you can trust him. D. Newman at cirrealty.ca. I think we were on the show. I think he said he was drinking somebody's blood or something. I made a dumb joke. It's like I had people asking if I actually drink blood or something. He doesn't drink blood. Jeepers. I shouldn't. I don't know why I brought it up. Derrick Newman's a great guy. He'll buy you. He'll sell your house. You want to buy one? He'll help you. Whatever it is. The real estate group with CIR Realty. Derrick Newman with Newman Dean's Real Estate Group. So buy it or sell it. We are under a month away from the trade deadline, and there's what do you do? Who's available? What do you trade? And what do you? We have heard plenty about the Flames and their search for a scoring winger, and I don't know Jacob Pelche, what you thought of his game tonight. Better than Lucic, but that's not really probably the bar you want to be using as a comparable. A lot of people want to say which winger, what forward can you bring in? I am trying to sell you on the fact that one forward is not going to change the scoring prowess of this team, unless it's Patrick Kane and turns around your power play. But I just don't feel like a forward is going to do it. If this team is going to get in and do any damage, it's going to be with better goaltending and solid D and 2-1 victories or 3-1 with empty netters. And this was not a good indicator that they're close to pulling that off because the turnovers were everywhere. But I'm trying to sell you, if you can get a defensive D-man, you see how poor their record is when Tanev is out of the lineup. They need all the help they can get. Screw the forwards. They need to get a D-man, if anything, at the deadline. You buying or selling?
If anything, I'll buy it. But I'm not convinced that even that's going to be the difference. I think it would be a nice touch. And depending on the cost, I'd be okay with it. Mm-hmm. But I guess I'm buying it, but I don't know that gets them there anyway. No. But I'd certainly be selling if they're thinking they're going to make a big deal and make a splash and turn this around. I don't see that at all. So if you want to add a small bit piece and solidify your defense and not worry about maybe losing you're going to hurt. It's not going to be good if you lose Tanev, but you can probably upgrade Michael Stone and have a little more depth there. I'm fine with that. Honest to God, my concern over all this is you don't want to do too much.
I'm with you. I think that it's not rocket science. I just don't see any way that Brad Treliving takes a swing here until he really feels good about this team. I don't think they're going to sell. I don't see that being a scenario unless it goes really badly here in the next 3 weeks. But God, because you know what? It can happen. You lose 4 in a row or 5 in a row and you're a seller all of a sudden. I don't think they're going to be sellers. I just can't imagine giving up assets until this team shows you more. Because through 51 games, they're more of a enigma than they are an example of what they are. I don't know how, whatever that example is, but I don't know what the hell they are.
Give me Markstrom at his best for a month and then let me decide. Right? Yeah. Like that's more important than any of it. You can say, find a scoring winger. No, let's see Markstrom at its best. Let's see Huberdeau play the way he's supposed to be able to play, right? Let's see him on the power play produce some points. Let's see what the team looks like then. Those two things right there might be the answer. And if they can't get those, adding anyone else is probably irrelevant.
Yeah. There's also, do you worry at all about potentially a GM like Brad Treliving? And I'm not suggesting he's on the hot seat, but here's this team. He made the moves in the offseason that he had to move. He was applauded for the trade with the Tkachuk deal and what he got back, and then the signings and all of that. Is there a situation where maybe you're
damn right there's a situation, Dean. I know what you're going to say, and it should be. Absolutely. As a Flames fan and as a follower of this team, you better that has to be playing into it because would be
Because a
your
GM
net.
that's you got if a GM
Yes.
feels that the Wolves are at the door, you may do what you have to do to try and appease that. And I don't feel like Treliving's that guy, but who's to say? If you're at
No, but he's
an hour
also a
before the deadline and you can take it or leave it, fuck it, I'll take it. I don't
well,
know.
and he's a. I don't think he's that guy, but he is a guy that likes to make moves. Do you know what I mean? Like they kind of fight each other. Like I
Yeah.
don't think he's out to screw this franchise, and I don't think he's throwing in the towel or any of that. And I don't think a move that if he does make a move, it would be done with ill intent. But he's a guy that
No.
likes to make moves, right?
Yeah.
So if there's a move to be made, he very well might make it, and I would be fearful of it because I don't trust this team. And again, we just talked about tonight is a perfect example of what are these guys, and
Yeah.
it's not so much about identity. Like I remember 7, 8 years ago, you're like, I don't even know when you said what are these guys. It was about their identity. I think they have an identity to a point with a coach like Daryl behind the bench. They have to, in a way, but I still don't know what they are. Are they good? Is Huberdeau 3 games away from breaking out of it? Is tonight the start of a Markstrom run where he plays well for 10 in a row? That's what I don't understand because we haven't seen when their top guys actually play like top guys. Kadri had a great start to the season. It was really good. Pushed him into an all-star spot, but has he been dominating lately?
Hmm.
No, it's been okay. So anyway, my the thing I would be very fearful that Brad does too much because I'm not convinced that whatever he does is going to be enough to get him over the top. And and the shittiest part for me would be is what the Flames do quite often: make the playoffs and bow out early, and you make some moves and you lose draft picks and you kind of you flounder the next year because you don't have the pieces
Mm-hmm.
or the assets to make moves that are substantial and long term. You make a move that maybe
Aye.
catapults you into that 8th place spot, and then you get shit kicked in the first round. And you're like, well, what did we do that for?
If it's a trade that maybe includes expiring contracts, but there's something that makes sense moving forward, I guess. But for this team right now to be spending prospect or draft capital for a expiring contract, I don't know. Not yet. Gonna have to see more. More than 51 games. We haven't made our mind up
Yeah,
yet. Haven't made our mind up. Let's buy it or sell it. Newman Dean's Real Estate Group, specifically Derrick Newman, solid guy. You can send him, get a hold of him. dnewman at cirrealty.ca, 403 619 6661. Newman Dean's Real Estate Group, Derrick Newman, with buy or sell. So it's now Detroit, and I'm with you. I have not watched a ton of Detroit, but there's skill, and it's a Stevie Y team, and I think they're well coached. And once you've lost to Chicago, I think you've lost the luxury of, well, that's a game we should win, and that's a game we should win. You barely beat Columbus. You went to overtime to beat Columbus in your own rink. You lost to Chicago. Not to say that they should have beaten the Rangers, but how do you go into a game thinking, oh yeah, well, this is 2 points tonight?
you
I
haven't
don't think there is one.
you've proven that you play down to your competition, right? More than you rise up.
Yeah.
So no, there's no tap ins for this team, and they've got 31. I'm doing math here live on air. 31 games left. They have to play all those out, and even then, I wouldn't know if I'd trust. Right? Like,
I know.
there's no way. No, there's 0 tap ins. They have to show up and play, and they've only proven to me that they're more capable of playing down to the level of the competition than just coming out and taking over and winning games. I mean, the ties in San Jose. Didn't they have to go to overtime in San Jose and LA?
Well, they were, yeah, I
Anaheim?
mean,
Was it Anaheim?
yeah, Rasmus
Right? Like
Anderson in overtime. Mm-hmm.
that's yeah, sure. They're in the NHL too, but too often the Flames have proven that, well, we're just gonna float through this one, and they think they should win it, but They don't go out and take control of it and put it to bed.
Before we go, I guess, and you got a couple days to think on it, but as you sit here now, hours after the game, or about an hour and a bit after the game has come to a close, who's your starter in Detroit on Thursday?
I'm going back to Markstrom because I want to find out what we've got.
Yeah. I'm okay with the fire. I mean, obviously, if you hit the ref, that'd have been but I'm okay. Snap your stick. I'd have been pissed off too. You made some big saves. You carried that team, and it's got to be frustrating that you can't seem to get over that hump. On nights where you let in 3, you get 2. You get 4 goals of offense. You needed 6 apparently on this night. So I get why he's frustrated, and it's not like he's a young goaltender. He knows how well he can play. And I just think you come back after a break like that, you think fresh start. Here we go. In your own mind. It's like all of us. Maybe you go away for Christmas, or you go away for holidays, and you go back to your job. It's like, all right, everything that was kind of giving me issues or that was bugging me, fresh start. And then first day back, it's like, fuck. No, they're still here. Everything's still here. So I do feel for him because he battled hard. But I would go back. I would go with him too, I think. As much as I think Vladar's been good.
I think Vladar has been good, and maybe you're in a situation you can't give up points, but I still believe that if Markstrom's not, you got to find out. It's we keep going back to it. I don't know. Is he the guy? I don't like. You're throwing in, because if you're throwing in the towel on him, then okay, then do it and give Vladar the reins and let him run. Like, I think the worst thing that they could do is piggyback each other and just go back and forth kind of and not find out who can run with it. I think you need a goalie that's going to go out and you feel confident on a day-to-day basis that you're going to get victories.
And remember Markstrom, when he came out with the I suck at hockey, when he got back in, he had 4 or 5. He had a real good string of games there for a while after he came back. You hope that this is something similar, but don't dip again. By all means, continue to play well. That's going to do it. Madison Square Garden tonight. The Flames lose in overtime by a score of 5-4 on the first of a 4-game road trip. That's Afterburner. Retro, good to have you back, buddy.
Nice to be back.
You're all rested, right? You come back from a week away and down in Florida. First Afterburner back, and now it's these fucking guys.
There was an earthquake here.
What? Yeah, like is everyone okay? Like, I don't want to make light of it.
Yeah, I know you guys really reached out with your thoughts and concerns. I appreciated that this morning. I know you were worried. I
guess we should have probably done that. Yeah,
I mean, everything.
I knew you were in the air. You're fine.
Yeah.
So, was it just one of those like holy crap? What is that? Or was there damage, or what went on?
No, I don't think it was big enough to do much damage. I'm sure maybe some minimal stuff to people's places, but apparently Grandpa popped out of bed and the tree landed on the house. Or I woke up and Colette from my kids' hockey team there was a whole group chat with the dads. Did anyone else wake up to an earthquake? Yes. Sure as shit, there was an earthquake.
Snowstorms and earthquakes. Solid pick, Retro. Of all the towns,
I may have
picked a dandy.
Maybe I've overplayed my hand. Florida was pretty nice this morning.
I bet it was. All right, buddies. Thanks. Flames fall in overtime 5-4 to the Rangers. That's Afterburner. See ya.
Get it.